Hi, welcome back to Let's Build. I hope you're doing the same as me and trying to win the podium car this week because it's a pretty decent one. And I'm going to show you a build on this today, the Craft A Racing Honda Civic EJ1. I'm really excited to show it to you, but let's just win another one and... Okay, let's not win another one. Close, but 50k is not bad. It is a very good looking car, this one, very much like the real car, which is fantastic. So let's get in the garage, let's build it. Okay, so let's run through the build then. Well, the armour, of course, on the car, I always say max out. I haven't done the brakes on this one because I don't drive it a lot. The bumpers is the coloured bit here, not the splitter. And I have gone for the tuner bumper. Obviously, I want more stuff in here, and I want those sort of almost triangular type pieces across the top. I don't have them, but this one is pretty close, and the rest are simply further away. For the rear bumper, I've only got one photo that shows it side on a bit blurry, but it doesn't look like there's any paint or that it's particularly extended, and I think the painted bumper gets us the closest there. For the engine, now here's an under bonnet photo, but honestly don't waste money under the bonnet unless you've got money to waste. I think I have, so I've gone for the meshed air filter, and that's just so that this piece disappears from view. In reality, there's a big pipe goes out here to an intake somewhere near the light, so they're all wrong, but that's the one I've gone for. For the engine cover, I've gone primary to put the green on it, and for the engine tunes, I've gone level 4. The strut brace, I wanted a polished brace with writing in it. Well, this is a polished brace with triangles cut out, which are a bit like the writing. It's not perfect, but I think that's the closest one there. For the exhaust, I've got no picture of the exhaust. I imagine it would be a single exhaust, and I don't want these like horrible looking ones, and I don't imagine it would be stupidly large, so let's take the chrome tuner exhaust and call that one a day. We don't need to do anything to the fenders. For the hood, there are very similar hood catches to this, these angled hood catches, or angled hood pins as it says, so we'll put those on. For the hood, we want a fairly standard hood but in black. I've gone for the carbon dinker hood, carbon rather than a secondary to avoid the pearl shining through. There is a downside with the dinker hood that you get the little grille at the front, but we don't have any choice because there is simply no carbon or even secondary stock hood available, so that's that. Horn doesn't matter. Interior. For the dash, I've gone for the race stripped interior. The doors, I've left them standard because you can see the door cards on the picture, at least fairly standard. For the seats, I can't have grey seat belts, so I've gone green to match the build, so the ballistic fibre tuner seats looked closest overall. And for the steering wheels, the good old Apex Basic, like you end up sticking in so many racing cars, is the right one. For lights, I've got the car meet lights here, which look pretty decent. There's stock or xenon, but car meet I think are nicest. But if you're short of money, stock. For the livery, there's almost two you could have, but I think really only one, which is this Dinker white stripes. They're available in black. There's also the shopping list in black or white, and this shopping list is perhaps a little bit more like what we want, except it's spread up the car and we want it along the car, and that's why I've gone for the white stripes. Out of interest, here are the other liveries you can have. There's racing liveries and sort of tuner liveries. There's all sorts really of liveries. It's a good selection on this car. This one here, that is the famous Spoons livery. I don't know if Spoons actually raced one of these or not, but if the car was painted in a sort of race yellow, that would be Spoons. And of course there's a lot of fans of Princess Robot Bubblegum, so that's there as well, so good choice. For mirrors, these carbon tuner mirrors here look quite close to the ones on the car that we're trying to copy. Now for the respray, I'll level with you, I think that my colour is just a fraction too bold, perhaps, maybe a fraction too green, but I've seen quite a few photos of this car and the green looks different in them all, so it's hard to say. I'm happy with this, certainly because you don't have photos pinned to your garage wall of the car. So it's a crew colour, and you can see here the hex. The pearl, I've gone for Wood Beach Brown. I wanted a definite pearl, but not quite as bright as silver, and the Wood Beach Brown seems to work pretty well. Secondary colour is just a matte black, so that's pretty easy. And inside any form of black colour, any of these top view will work fine. For the roll cage, I've gone secondary racer roll cage, and if we look inside, it's a full cage. I mean, it goes through the dash rather than around it. We would have a dash dodger if it existed, but it is a full cage and it's not padded, so that's as close as we're going to get. For the roof, I don't want any roof fins. We better go external. And what I want is a completely painted sunroofless roof, which I can't quite have, but primary sunroof gets me therefore as close as is possible on that. For side panel, that means the trim here, it is still black, so we can have secondary. We could also have stock. I'm not sure why I spent money on secondary, but let's put it back so we don't reflect any pearl. The skirts, the car is really hard to see on every photo, but once you get below the door, the only stuff I can see is black. It looks like the skirts aren't even quite as deep as this in reality, but stock skirts is going to work great. Splitters, I want a deeper splitter. I want this ridiculously low splitter here, but I can't have it. I can have bigger ones, but they're the wrong shape, and I think the shape is more important than anything. So the secondary drift splitter here is the exact correct shape because it doesn't have writing on, but that's what we're going for. We're pretty lucky with the spoiler. The drift spoiler is very, very close to what we want. And out of interest, if you look at this car, there's no really stupid spoilers on the car. It is in fact a lovely selection, so that's great. So drift spoiler there. Sunstrip, I want black with white writing. Well, I can have black at least, so that's what I'm having on the sunstrip. The carbon sunstrip, again, just to avoid picking up the pearl. Suspension, well, you might think, why has he not dumped it to the floor? Why are we on sports? That's the reason I haven't dumped it to the floor. I mean, that is so ridiculous. I have seen the odd photo of cars actually like this, and I did once see one for real. I just don't get it. I mean, it's wrong in every single way, and obviously it doesn't work here. So less ranting, let's move on. I haven't done transmission because I don't drive it much, and I'm pretty sure the car would not have a turbo, so probably don't do that. For wheels, we go into the tuner category, and then near the bottom, they are the bottom, Rally Master wheels. Now in reality they're an extremely bright red, and if you're on console, maybe you can do a brighter, more vibrant red than this. I don't know with the HSW type stuff, but certainly on PC or last gen you don't have much choice really with the wheel colour. It's just painting them red, because Blaze Red is even darker and Garnet Red is like brown in this light. For the tyres, we're not using design. There's no writing on the ones that I've seen. We are going to of course do our bulletproof tyres, and our windows are not going to have a tint. And that is the build complete for the Craft A Racing Honda Civic EJ1. Phew. Let's have a look outside now. I've got to say that does look pretty good, and I think a very convincing replica of the car that we've been aiming to replicate. I only have one slight downside apart from the things outside my control, and that is the colour. I do feel it's a little bit too vibrant on the green side of things. It is a vibrant green in some photos I've seen, but I would rather have got the colour of the one we saw on the track that we used most of the way through. But this is my third go at the colour and I'm still not quite there, and as I say, when you park it in the garage you don't know that the colour is just that fraction wrong versus the photos. So I'm happy, I'm going to keep it like this, but I know there's some people who subscribe to the channel who are really whizzy with the crew colours, and if anybody wants to take on the challenge of making the perfect colour for this car, please do be my guest. And if you find a hex that's better, put it below, I'll test it, and if I like it, well, I'll make a short follow-up video and link it to this one to show the world the perfect colour. Otherwise that's the build complete. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. It's all the thumbs up you've given so far is what's helped me get to 1,000 subscribers, and hey, we're pushing for the next 1,000 now. Comment of course is always appreciated, and a sub if you like real cars in GTA. The next Let's Build is most likely to be a very special Ferrari. I have all the footage for that one already, but of course I do love requests, so If there's anything you'd like me to build in the game, please let me know. I realise there's a few I haven't got round to, and they are on the list and they will happen at some point, but any new ones I'd be very grateful to hear. That's all for now, and thank you so much for watching.